I still remember that day perfectly. The smell of my mother's coffee, the sound of birds chirping outside our suburban home, and the moment my future was stolen from me. Emma, my mother said, not quite meeting my eyes, we need to talk about your college fund. I was 18, fresh out of high school with a perfect GPA and an acceptance letter to MIT. I'd spent years dreaming about studying computer science, about building something revolutionary. The $120,000 in my college fund, money my grandparents had set aside specifically for my education, was my ticket to that future. What about it? I asked, though something in her tone made my stomach twist. My brother Marcus chose that moment to swagger into the kitchen, still wearing his football jersey from last night's game. At 20, he was on his third attempt at community college, more interested in parties than passing grades. Your brother needs the money more, Mom said quietly. He's struggling and well, you're smart. You can figure something out. The world seemed to tilt sideways. That's my money, I whispered. Grandma and Grandpa left it for my education. Don't be selfish, Emma, Marcus cut in, grabbing an apple from the counter. You can get loans or whatever. I need this chance to turn my life around. I turned to my father, who had been silently reading his newspaper. Dad, please. This isn't fair. He lowered his paper slightly, sighing. Life isn't fair, Emma. Your brother needs a fresh start. You've always been the responsible one. You'll find a way. The responsible one. That's what they always called me when they needed me to sacrifice something for Marcus. When they missed my science fair to attend his football game. When they spent my 16th birthday money on his car repairs. When they chose him over and over again. I got into MIT, I said, my voice shaking. This was my dream. Dreams change, Mom replied, already pulling out the paperwork to transfer my college fund to Marcus's account. Maybe consider the local community college? You could live at home, save money. I watched as she signed away my future, remembering all the nights I'd stayed up late studying while Marcus partied. All the achievements I'd earned while he coasted on charm and excuses. All the times I'd been told I was the smart one, only to discover that being smart meant I deserved less support, not more. There, Mom said, finishing the last signature. It's done. Marcus, honey, this is your chance to really apply yourself. Marcus grinned, already texting his friends. Thanks, Mom. I won't let you down this time. But I wasn't listening anymore. Something had hardened inside me, like molten steel being quenched in ice water. If they wanted me to figure something out, I would. Just not the way they expected. That night I packed my bags. Not dramatically, not with tears or slammed doors. Quietly, methodically, like I was solving a complex equation. I took my laptop, my savings from 3 years of part-time coding jobs, and the determination that had earned me that MIT acceptance letter. I left a note, don't worry about me. I'll figure something out. The next morning I was on a bus to Silicon Valley. I had $3,000 in savings, a laptop full of code I'd written, and an idea that would either make me or break me. No safety net, no family support, nothing but my brain and my will to succeed. I spent the first month sleeping on a friend's couch, coding 18 hours a day. By day I took any programming job I could find. By night I worked on my project, a revolutionary algorithm for processing big data. Something that would change how companies handled information. 6 months later I had a working prototype and eyes burning from endless nights of coding. I lived on ramen and coffee, treating every dollar like it was my last. While Marcus was spending my college fund on new cars and spring break trips, I was building something that would reshape the tech industry. 1 year after leaving home I got my first investor meeting. The venture capitalist looked skeptical when I walked in, just a 19-year-old girl with dark circles under her eyes and a laptop held together with duct tape. Then I showed him my algorithm. 2 hours later I walked out with a $2 million seed investment and a valuation that made my stolen college fund look like pocket change. I called home once during that first year. Mom answered, her voice bright. Emma. We've missed you. Marcus is doing so well with his classes now. He's thinking about business school. That's nice, I said, watching my company's servers process data for our first major client. I'm doing fine too. Oh honey, are you still doing that computer thing? You know, it's not too late to come home. The community college has some openings. I hung up. They didn't need to know about my growing company, about the patents pending, about the major tech firms already trying to buy my algorithm. Let them think I was still their responsible daughter who would figure something out. 5 years passed. My company, Phoenix Data Systems, grew from a one-woman operation to a tech giant employing thousands. I stayed out of the press, letting my work speak for itself. As far as my family knew, I was still struggling to make ends meet somewhere in California. Then came the email that made me laugh out loud. From Marcus Williams. Subject: Job application, business development position. Dear hiring manager, I'm excited to apply for the business development position at Phoenix Data Systems. I leaned back in my chair in my corner office 50 stories above Silicon Valley, reading my brother's resume. Full of exaggerations, half-truths, and that same charm that had always gotten him what he wanted. He had no idea he was applying to his sister's company. No idea that the mysterious CEO everyone in tech talked about was the same sister whose future he'd helped steal. My assistant poked her head in. The new hire orientation starts in 10 minutes. Should I tell them you'll be leading it today? I smiled, picking up Marcus's resume. Absolutely. I think it's time for a family reunion. The orientation room buzzed with nervous energy as new hires filed in. I watched through the one-way glass of the observation room, spotting Marcus immediately. He still had that same confident swagger, though his designer suit couldn't quite hide the desperate edge of someone who'd burned through too many opportunities. He's been here since 7 a.m., my assistant Sarah whispered, bragging to everyone about his natural business instincts and how he'll probably be running the place in a year. I smiled, remembering similar boasts from 15 years ago. Has he mentioned his sister? Once. Said she couldn't hack it in tech, and went back to working retail or something. If only they knew. Phoenix Data Systems had revolutionized data processing worldwide. Our technology powered everything from social media giants to space exploration. That MIT acceptance I'd once dreamed about? They now use my algorithms to process their research data. It's time, I said, straightening my blazer. Let's welcome the new hires. The room fell silent as I walked in. Most new employees knew me by reputation. The mysterious founder who'd built a tech empire from nothing. Marcus, scrolling on his phone in the front row, didn't even look up. Welcome to Phoenix Data Systems, I began, scanning the room. I'm Emma Williams, founder and CEO. The sound of Marcus's phone clattering to the floor was almost comical. His head snapped up, face draining of color as recognition hit him. Our eyes met for the first time in 15 years. Emma? He whispered, looking like he'd seen a ghost. Hello, Marcus, I replied calmly. Interesting resume you submitted. Though I notice you left out some details about your educational funding. The other new hires looked between us, confusion turning to interest as they sensed drama unfolding. Marcus stood up, trying to regain his composure. This is some kind of joke, he stammered. You can't be. I pulled up his application on the presentation screen. Marcus Williams, 3 attempted business degrees, funded by a transferred college fund of $120,000. Current status, incomplete. Interesting investment return. That money was mine, he blurted, then immediately realized his mistake as murmurs rippled through the room. No, Marcus. It wasn't. I clicked to the next slide. My company's current valuation. That money was meant for MIT. For someone who would figure something out. And I did. The number on screen made several people gasp. $50 billion. My stolen college fund multiplied by over 400,000 times. Everyone except Mr. Williams is free to proceed to their department orientations, I announced. Sarah will guide you. As the room emptied, Marcus stood frozen, staring at the valuation number like it was written in alien script. Sit down, I said, taking my own seat. Let's discuss your application. He collapsed into his chair, his carefully constructed confidence crumbling. Emma, I didn't know. Clearly. I opened his file. Your resume claims you have extensive experience in corporate development. Would that be the 3 companies that fired you, or the failed startup you abandoned after burning through Dad's retirement fund? He flinched. Look, about the college money. Ancient history, I cut him off. I'm more interested in the present. Like why you applied to my company. I didn't know it was yours. I needed a job. Things haven't been. He trailed off, looking down at his expensive but slightly worn suit. Haven't been what? Easy. Did you run out of other people's money to waste? His head snapped up. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, I echoed our father's words from 15 years ago. But it is poetic. You took my college fund because you needed a chance. Now you're here asking for another chance, from the sister whose future you stole. I was young, he protested weakly. Mom and Dad said a lot of things. I stood up, walking to the window overlooking the city. They said I was smart enough to figure it out. They said you needed the support more. They said dreams change. I turned back to face him. They were right about one thing. I did figure it out. Without the money, without their support, without anything except my own determination. And now here you are, applying to work for the sister you left behind. Marcus's shoulders slumped. So you brought me here just to humiliate me? To reject me in person? No. I sat down again, sliding a folder across the table. I brought you here to offer you a job. He looked up, confusion written across his face. What? Entry level. Data processing department. Starting salary matches your experience, which means barely above minimum wage. No special treatment, no shortcuts, no borrowed glory. But why? Because unlike you, Mom and Dad, I understand the value of earning your way. This is your chance, Marcus. Your real chance. Not bought with stolen money or family favors, but with actual work. He opened the folder with trembling hands. These requirements, these performance metrics, are non-negotiable. You'll start at the bottom just like I did. You'll work your way up just like I did. Or you'll fail on your own merits, just like you've been doing. And if I refuse? I smiled. Then you can explain to Mom and Dad how you turned down a job at one of the biggest tech companies in the world. I'm sure they'll understand. They always did when it came to you. Marcus stared at the contract for a long moment. They don't know, do they? About all this? About what you've built? No. They still think I'm that responsible daughter who'll figure something out. The last time Mom called, she suggested I take some community college classes. He winced. God, Emma. I'm sorry. For everything. Sorry doesn't pay back $120,000. Or 15 years of missed opportunities. I stood up. But maybe honest work will start to make up for it. Your choice, brother. After a long moment, he picked up the pen and signed. Welcome to Phoenix Data Systems, I said, standing up. Orientation starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. Emma, he called as I reached the door. Did you ever think about reaching out? Letting them know? I paused. They'll find out soon enough. The company's going public next month. Should be interesting when they see my name in the headlines. As I walked back to my office, my phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Honey, have you thought more about those community college classes? It's never too late to get a proper education. I smiled, thinking about the upcoming IPO that would make me one of the richest women in tech. About the headlines that would show my family exactly what their responsible daughter had built. About Marcus's first day tomorrow, learning what it means to actually earn something. Don't worry, Mom, I typed back. I figured something out. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's success so massive it turns stolen opportunities into pocket change. And sometimes the hardest lesson isn't learning to succeed. It's learning to work for it.